by Michael Horks. The BKF and CVC broadcast interruption was a broadcast signal intrusion that occurred on December 6, 1987 in Brookfield and Carver City. The audio of a news broadcast was replaced by a voice claiming to represent the Vox Populi, delivering a message that dark forces of the supernatural existed in BKF and CVC and all who lived there were poisoned by its influence. After 6 minutes, the broadcast returned to its scheduled program. A subsequent invasion on December 8 showed that the fourth transmitter of the Broadcasting Authority had rebroadcast the signal from a small but nearby unauthorized transmitter instead of the intended source. The hoaxer was never identified. The event prompted hundreds of telephone calls from concerned members of the public and was widely reported in newspapers. These are sometimes contradictory, including differing accounts of the name used by the speaker and the wording of their message. On December 6 at 6:30 p.m., as BBN's Drew Wilkie presented a news summary where he reported on fallout from No Man's Land, the TV picture wobbled slightly, followed by a deep buzz. The audio was replaced by a distorted voice delivering a message for almost 6 minutes. The speaker claimed to be John Smith, a lowly, menial worker from Town Hall but a representative of Messigios. Messigios being a name associated with Ferguson Abbott's spiritualist group. Reports of the incident vary, some calling the speaker John Smith or John Brown, and others John Anderson. The interruption ceased shortly after the statement had been delivered, transmissions returning to normal shortly before the end of the news report. Later in the evening, BNN Television apologized for what it described as a breakthrough in sound for some viewers. CCN also reported on the incident in its own late-evening Saturday bulletin. Station head Alf Caulfield questioned reporting of the incident, referring to a recording of the complete broadcast which appeared to exist at the time. The explanation at that time, the television transmitter was unusual in being one of the few main transmitters which rebroadcast an off-air signal received from another transmitter, the Brookfield Broadcasting Authority's BBA, fourth transmitter on Campbell's Quarry, rather than being fed directly by a landline. As a consequence, it was open to this kind of signal intrusion, as even a relatively low-powered transmission very close to the rebroadcast receiver could overwhelm its reception of the intended signal, resulting in the unauthorized transmission being amplified and rebroadcast across a far wider area. The BBA stated that to carry out such a hoax would take a considerable amount of technical know-how, and a spokesman for BBA Television confirmed, "A hoaxer jammed our transmitter in the wilds of Pine Bluffs by taking another transmitter very close to it." The hoaxer was never identified. The incident caused local alarm, with thousands of worried viewers flooding BBA Television with telephone calls after the intrusion. In the next day's newspapers, the BBA announced the broadcast was a hoax, confirming it was the first time such a hoax transmission had been made. The broadcast became a footnote in supernatural circles as some chose to accept the supposed possession broadcast at face value, questioning the explanation of a transmitter hijack. Within 2 days of the incident's report in the Brookfield Sun, a letter to the editor published on November 30 asked, "How can the BBA or anyone else be sure that the broadcast was a hoax?" By the following year, the story had entered urban folklore, with suggestions there had never been any explanation of the broadcasts.